Pisces, hi, welcome. It's Erin Scott here with the Alchemy of Holism. And I have a little bit of allergy, so you're going to hear that a bit in my voice. It's Saturday, the 16th of June, and we're tapping into this new moon portal of time, mid-June to mid-July, for the Gemini new moon cycle, which was sun-moon conjunct at 2244 degrees Gemini, very close to Mercury. And hey, there's a lot happening in the field, meaning the source field, in the collective human psyche, on the world stage, lots activated. For individuals, lots activated. Certainly you're feeling it. We have South Node Mars conjunct squaring Uranus, huge. We also have other activations, but there is a lot coming up from that particular activation, okay? Now, as I'm recording this, Venus is conjunct the moon, which is nice, and it's conjunct the North Node. So, you know, it might be that around this new moon cycle, especially being a Gemini new moon, and with the other activations coming forward, it might be for some of you that you have been hearing from people from your past, or you have been inclined to reach out to people from your past. But be aware of what's activated, okay? Now, what I'm doing is I have my gouache paints here, and I'm going to bring through images, symbols, forms, numbers, colors, spatial relationships, whatever it is that wants to come through here. And we're going to tap into the natural arc. What are the catalyzing, or what's a generalizing catalyzing force activating your evolutionary growth as a Piscean embodiment? So for the archetype of Pisces, what's growing now during this natural cycle? This is nature. It's not mystical. It's just nature. Okay? Nature is magical and it is mystical, but it's not to not be understood. This is just nature. Okay, so let's first identify you here. Okay. All right, Pisces. Now, I will say that I have a hair in my eye that I can't get out, so you might see me trying to get it out. My cat has very fine fur and it gets everywhere. Okay, Pisces. So and by the way, I'm also going to pull from my Siri deck. This is my own 144 card deck. We're going to pull at least one card. Sometimes there's been more cards that have, you know, naturally, organically come through, but we're going to at least pull one card for you to kind of give you the support that you need for the month ahead. So what will support you, okay? Let's see who wants to start the image for Pisces for the cycle. You're going to hear some music probably in the background. It's my neighbors outside, and they're playing the radio as they're doing stuff in the work in the garage. So Pisces, I'm just going to tap in here. I'm just going to tap in here for a little bit, okay? It's funny, we've been getting a lot of cubes coming through for this cycle for quite a few of the signs. You're the second to the last sign that I'm doing. And there's been several cubes that have come through for the signs this month. It's very interesting. So Pisces, hang in there. We'll talk about it in a minute. Okay. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. It's pretty light. Almost done here, Pisces, and we're going to talk about it, okay? I have to say, I do sincerely love doing these readings because they're so different. I mean, you know, as they should be, but, or as is appropriate, I should say. But I just love how completely unique each message is. I really love it. Okay, let's talk about it. It does feel like that's done. Hopefully you can see everything okay. I've done this in pencil versus charcoal because I need to sharpen it. My last sip of wonderful coffee. Okay. So let's just look at what came through kind of first, second, third, fourth, all right? Because the layering of the images also matters. We had first this kind of beautiful teal green in these two forms, which is actually not obviously too dissimilar to the Piscean two fish kind of symbology, you know, especially with the colors, because we have these kind of teal green here and this blue here, which kind of evokes the sea. And we have these two images, which could look like two fish, but that's not what they felt like. These images just were organically flowing. One side, the other side. And what I want you to notice is there is this kind of division here in the imagery. And you have this, let's say, this vertical pole, which might be more spiritually oriented. This could represent your spiritual foundations, okay? And there's almost this rack on top holding two shapes, two forms, a cube and a sphere. Not a circle and a square, a cube and a sphere, okay? And for me, they're in balance. You know, it's not that the rack is crooked. It's not that one is lower than the other. These are at the same height and they're approximately the same size. So they're evoking kind of the same weightiness, that the cube on one side and the sphere on the other side are both given equal value for you this month and both given equal weight. And what I get is that there's left brain and right brain represented here. Left brain more from this cubical orientation. The left side of the brain is oriented toward parts identification, short-term view, analytics, numbers. It's the analytic aspect of the mind, more so. But it certainly is about identification, parts, and short-term results. That's the orientation of left mind. The right brain is more associated with long view thinking, holistic views, emotions and intuitive interpretations, storytelling, narratives, archetypes. You know, it's a broader way. So there's one that's more defined and one that's more broad. The sphere represents holistic view, right? Here it's more analytics view. It's the logistics of life, that kind of thing. Both are valuable, both are important. This month, mid-June to mid-July, you're giving equal weight to not just your maybe more naturally oriented intuitive side, or your more naturally intuitive or empathetic empath orientation, or the more encoded emotional reactive orientation. There is a balancing. I'm getting some chills with that. So there's a balancing happening within you this month. There's some sort of a calibration. You're learning to access the left brain more. Get things down on paper. Have things planned out. Orient your life toward actual accomplishment of tasks and goals, things of that nature. And also the logistics of your life, you know. There's logistics and then there's the aspects. Both are valuable. Both are valuable to orienting life. It's, in fact, emotions and intuition, sensing and analyzation are 4 aspects with which humans assess their reality. And in modern human history, we have denied essentially 3 of the other aspects that we know the world. And we have hyper put on a pedestal, hyper activated and idealized the analytic aspect of the human brain. Ridiculous, right? It's a myth. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. And it's imbalanced and it's toxic because it's unnatural, right? For you, you have more of a balanced view this month. And it's based on almost your spiritual story. So it's almost like you're looking more with realistic eyes about a spiritual narrative that you've held. It could be that you were brought up with a particular religious orientation. Now, I will tell you, for those of you Pisces out there watching that also have a lot of Virgo in your chart, I want you to watch the Virgo reading. Because keep in mind, Virgo is your polar opposite, right? Virgo has a big narrative happening this month with regards to spirituality. And I have to tell you, I think you do too. But the interesting thing is, I feel that you're able to actually take in, let's say, some facts that you might be learning about a religious dogma or a religious foundation or a religious philosophy that you grew up believing, and you're able to balance it with your intuitive knowing. I do think that there's a couple things here. I think that with this kind of this teal green that's washing up, it's like a big wash. It's a wave. It feels like a wave, okay? I feel like there's a wave of information coming forward. Teal can talk about, it's kind of a mixture of green and yellow, or excuse me, blue and yellow. It's kind of this green color, but it's the teal orientation is kind of this green-blue, and green is yellow and blue. So there's a little bit of yellow, which is certainly an optimistic energy, but it's also more persona, more personality, and more will-based energy. In this blue narrative, the blue color, which is spirituality And it's also communication. And I have a feeling that there's a wash of information coming, almost like a wave of information that might be coming forward. See how this is intersecting this line? I think that there's a bringing forward in a very loud fashion, almost a loud fashion, bringing forward communicative information about a spiritual narrative that is impacting your spiritual foundations, but you are able to hold it well. Now, there's also these lines. So there were these arced lines that are coming up to the cube in yellow, So there's willful, something happens from a wave of communication that brings forward, erupts an emergent, willful, let me think about this actually. Because it's going into the cube, which is facts, analytics, details. Let me think about this, Pisces. Actually, I want to pull a card. Let me pull a card for that, okay? There's definitely more to say on that. There's something that erupts from something that occurs in your context. Something happens in your life. It's a wave. It's like, oh, and by the way, it could be even an emotional wave, because blue obviously talks also to emotional realities, our intuitive and emotional realm. And it could be that there's a wave of perhaps communication that erupts a wave of emotions within you, but you're able to willfully bring it into the logical mind. That's actually what I'm getting. I think that you're able to reinterpret or re-understand, okay, re-perceive an emotional narrative that's driven by an unconscious past. It's an unconscious default of wound. We're all run by defaults until we become really awake and very self-aware. Okay. By the way, for those of you interested in learning about my soul print identification work, which is critical, foundational, it's highly needed now. If you don't already know your soul print, learn it. Learn it. Because you have to know who you are. In order to really participate in your own growth and evolution, you have to know who you are. You have to know the wound stuff that's driving you unconsciously, and you need to understand your mastery trajectory. It's naturally encoded. And it's to allow it, to be it, to fully live it, you know, to not struggle against it. Because when we make ourselves wrong, there's the suffering. When we make whatever's happening wrong, that's the suffering. And I feel that your mind, your logical mind, your analytic mind, is going to be able to willfully, yellow, take emotional activations and actually reinterpret them. That's what I get. Now let's pull though a card for, this is my Siri deck, a card for the yellow. Let's pull a card for the yellow. What's that? Communication. It's about how you're communicating to yourself. This is to yourself. Now, for some of you, it's going to be self-communication that's going to be reflected to how you're communicating outwardly. It could very well be that there is a wave. Okay, this is the deal. I do feel that perhaps there's a wave of collective energy. Because keep in mind, this summer and this fall, lots happening on the collective in societies throughout the world. Lots happening, okay? It could be that there is an emotional wave. And you choose to take what's happening with your perception mechanism, hopefully clearly, and take it and willfully put it into some sort of cubical, logical product or vehicle with which to bring forward information. Because we're talking, this is communication. This yellow, it's like a willful communication of logic that needs to come from a societal wave of stuff that's happening. There's a lot happening on the collective that is very cruel, detached, violent, painful. There's stuff happening that's painful now, currently, you know, and it will continue. This is communication, everybody. Okay, now Aquarius also got a lot of communication stuff happening. So if you're a Pisces that has a lot of Aquarius, pay attention. Pay attention. You're bringing communication through in a logical way. In a logical way. Now, your logic is balanced by your intuition. I'm getting a lot of chills with that one. This is beautiful, everybody. Beautiful. Now, on the other side here, we also have the intuitive sphere with these 3 lines next to it connected to this other arc. Now, do you notice that this one is down below and this one's above? As below, so above. As above, so below. This is more etheric. I think that intuitively you're getting. Do you see how these are reflecting one another? They're like one's a loop, right? It's a mirror reflection, right? This is horizontal. This is vertical. Do you see? What this is saying is intuitively, Pisces, it's really coming very clearly. Intuitively, you see what is happening here from a spiritual perspective, from a more evolved, higher self, soul perspective. That is what's happening. Intuitively, you get what's happening on the material plane. Okay? This is very clear to me now. You're getting it. You get it, you get it, you get it, you get it, you see it. You're choosing to communicate. You're choosing free will to communicate in a logical way what is happening. Now, I will tell you, I'm a Pisces moon, and this is definitely activated for me. So for a lot of you out there, you're going to, it's almost like there's no more fear about communicating truth because you get that the collective needs it. That's definitely activated for me. It's like, man, there's a lot of people asleep, and man, there's a lot of pain out there. Like, we all need to step up in our teaching modalities and just come forward, because my Lord, just wake up. You know, people are asleep. So there's an ability to see clearly, and there's an ability to be logical in how you bring forward information. There is a balance of mind activated. Okay. Now, look at this. Now, I want to pull another card for this yellow, but I think I know what it is because this is reflecting this. I do think that your free will choice, you know what? So this is what I get, Pisces. I feel that you are free will choosing to take what's happening on the collective and bringing something forward in a logical, linear way so people can comprehend what's happening on the spiritual, on the collective. Look at this wash of free will choice happening at the other side of it. You know, essentially, this is one side, this is the other side. This could represent mass free will. You might be communicating, I'm getting lots of chills with that. This is about activating people's freedom. Again, certainly that's my work. Ultimately, it's about freeing people from their prison of mind, right? That's the holosynthesis work I do. It's 3-pronged. The organizing principles of natural systems, evolutionary astrology, and Byron Katie's the work. All right? That's what I do, right? You do something else. But this is about creating freedom so that people are awake, aware, conscientious in their life, that they've taken the reins and they're becoming the master of their own life and not running from it, you know, by default. Okay? Now, let's pull your guidance for this particular month ahead. For those that want to learn more, you can go to thealchemyofholism.com. You can be in touch with me there. You can see my services there. The other thing, for those that are desiring to connect with weekly live streams with me, you can. I've created a membership portal essentially through my Patreon account. Okay, so that's considered now a membership portal. And for an $11 a month membership, you can, you know, there's several goodies that you get with that, including weekly live streams. Okay, where we talk about the astro symbology of the week ahead, and we work with guidance as well. Okay, it's a big time, and it's important for you to stay grounded and real. Stay self-honest. Self-honest. Now, the guidance for Pisces, look at this. Oh, my Lord. Right. Okay. Right. The guidance, and do you see there's 2 owls here? This is about wisdom. Inherently, owl is about wisdom, and it's about clear seeing in the dark. This is about you communicating, Pisces. There's new communications that want to come through. Make it logical, make it balanced. You intuitively see, so now make it so that people can understand what's happening on the earth plane. Okay? It's time. Time, everybody. Oh boy, Pisces. Who knows? Maybe if enough people want to gather, maybe we can have like a special course or group, a gathering for Pisces that are really feeling the energies and ready to really move forward with clarity. Okay? Could be that. Could be that. Could be that something wants to emerge. You can let me know if that's something that's desired. But beautiful month ahead, Pisces. Okay? The alchemyofholism.com, Patreon for weekly live streams. I'm sending you much love and support. Stay grounded. Every day, connect with nature. Every day, twice a day, do meditation. Every day, have stillness. Every day, get off tech for multiple hours at a time. Every single day. Now is the time we're in it. You have to stay grounded. It's important. It's critical. You have to be disciplined now. It's not a matter of thinking about it and contemplating it or giving yourself the excuse that you don't have the time. No, if you're choosing to actually participate mindfully, consciously in this process that human evolution is now in, discipline now, now. Start right now. Not tomorrow, not later today, now. Okay? Important, really, for your own sanity, for your own grounding, and for your own rooted place because of the physical transmutations that are going to be happening in all kind of levels of physical reality in the next many years. So ground in your knowing. Okay? Much love. Talk to you soon. Bye.